Yo, what is going on, my boy Anubis the Game Archer here with a brand new video for you guys today. Welcome to the channel. Hope you all feeling good, looking and smelling good. Welcome. Your boy is out here, Anubis the Gamer Archer, also known as Archangel of Chaos. Hope you all feel good, smelling good, like I already said. If you're not feeling good, hope you put it out today. And if you're not smelling good, go watch ass. Do all those things the algorithm likes. You know exactly what the algorithm likes. You know those that little icon at the bottom, you know, the one that with the thumbs up, or you can do thumbs down. Either way, any kind of traction helps the channel grow, to help the channel grow. So today's video, we're gonna do a let me adjust my cam low real quick. We're gonna do a video for She-Hulk. This isn't going to be one of those like breakdown videos where it's like almost an hour long, just breaking down every single episode. We're going to get to the nitty gritty and talk about the show as a whole, talk about the acting, talk about the writing, talk about how the show ended, what I'm looking forward to with the next season. How do I feel about She-Hulk? It's not a full review, it's more so just a thoughts video, and I'm going to do another video like this for Rings of Power right after this video. So we're done recording this, we're going to record the Rings of Power impression video. So She-Hulk, man, what an adventure She-Hulk was. And when I say the word adventure, it can be used in any capacity of good or bad when it comes to how you viewed such an adventure. You know, She-Hulk was a mixed bag for a lot of people. For a lot of people, they hated it. A lot of people, they didn't even care about it. Now, before I get into my opinions of She-Hulk, do understand I do have a slight bias towards the character. What kind of bias do I have towards the character, you might be asking? Well, for one, She-Hulk is a part of my second favorite faction in all of comics. My first favorite faction in comics is X-Men. My second is A-Force. She-Hulk is one of the original and more well-known members of A-Force. You know, A-Force also, again, when we talk about the main team, it's Dazzler, you know, Medusa, Sisters Grimm, Captain Marvel, which is my second favorite Marvel character of all time, and Singularity. And She-Hulk is one of those members. And with that, I've read She-Hulk's comics. I have a lot of knowledge of the character She-Hulk. And I will say this, a lot of people didn't read She-Hulk's comics, and it's very noticeable by their opinions of the show, because from someone who has read her comics, this entire show has been on brand for She-Hulk. You know, when it comes to comic accuracy, this has basically been She-Hulk. Like it's been pretty accurate. You know, again, I'm not gonna go like on a ramble of, you know, all the details of the comics, but this is a character who 2004 her comics was titled. It was titled Single Green Female. It was like talking about, you know, not her being a superhero, but, you know, dating culture and things like that. That's what the 2004 comic was titled. And, you know, when it comes to her, some of her comics, you know, like just some descriptions. There was one moment in the comics where she got in trouble at her job because she's trying to take pictures of her ass and broke the photocopy machine. Again, if you saw that in the show, people will say that was dumb as shit, but it's in the comics. You know, this is a character who, there's this thing called the comic code back in the day. The comic code was basically the government or the trade commissions and things like that, the FCC, trying to control what comics could do, what they can put out with. Basically, think of like the war of video games right now. Any of y'all play video games? Think about how you always see like politicians going, video games are ruining kids' lives. Video games are creating violence. The comic code was basically the exact same thing, where back in the day, they were saying that comic books are creating violence, or making kids bad, or influencing children in a bad way. And Marvel will make fun of it. Marvel made fun of about having a comic series where She-Hulk was jump roping naked. Now, she wasn't actually naked. She was wearing like, you know, those kind of bikinis where there's no strap, but it's like it just covers the nips. You know, and then, you know, obviously a little thong on, and she's just jump roping, and the way she's jump roping at the speed, you don't see the bikini at all. You just see potentially this giant green naked chick, and it's basically just making fun of the comic code. This has been She-Hulk's character. Everything you see in this show, that's been her actual character in the comics, and it's been her sense of humor. She's a fourth wall breaking character. Some would say, I think accurately, I think she was breaking the fourth wall before Deadpool, but Deadpool was more popular, so therefore people kind of associate breaking the fourth wall with his character. So, with all of that said, that does not mean the show was perfect. It's not like this is a She-Hulk fan's dream, because that's not. There were some things about the show that was a little weird. There were some things about the show that was a little off. There's some things about the show that I thought was like, you know, definitely like bad writing. There's some things about the show that Could have been better. But I don't think the entire show itself was bad. I think for the most part, for the full circle of the show is a good show. I enjoyed it. It's a fun ride. It's a fun show. It's a fun little comedy that wants to kind of be like a sitcom style comedy. And I love the idea that Marvel has, where it's like Marvel's not just superheroes. Marvel's also horror. Marvel's also romance. Marvel's also a comedy. There's more to Marvel than just superheroes, and this was the She-Hulk was trying to like capture that, trying to capture. She doesn't want to be a superhero. She just wants to be a normal mid-30s woman in America who's having a hard time dating and things like that. And that's what the target audience was. The target audience for this show wasn't even me, the one who's read the comics. The target audience for the show was modern women, and I think it did a good job of trying to target modern women. And when it comes to the acting of the show, I think the acting for the most part, like I said, there was some writing moments I thought was kind of weird, but I think acting wise was really good. I think Tatiana Maslany, when it comes to her as Jen, the only beef I have with her is Jen, where she smiles so much. It's not like a massive negative. Like there's just so much smiling going for her character. Like she's one of the people who smiles when they talks. So she was just doing like a lot of smiling, and it kind of like broke some of the immersion. But at the same time, she wasn't like overly bad. And I think Ginger Gonzalez is one of the stars of the show. Like whenever Nikki was on the camera, she was like the star of that scene. She stole it because she did a very good job at playing her character. When it came to Joshua Segarra, who also played in the Arrowverse, he played Prometheus in the Arrowverse. His character's a little funky. I think his character is one of the weaker characters in the show. Now I don't know if that's the writing's fault or his fault. It's either or. It could be both. But you know, he didn't have, as a support character, he didn't have the same kind of impression on me that Nikki had when she's on screen. When it comes to Tim Roth, he did good for his character. I think the whole thing with Abomination it's kind of just cheeky humor, but it wasn't like bad. I think Tim Roth is a great actor, and he did great in this show. I kind of expected some things when it came to like the story to be a little different. There's the post-credit scene definitely has me interested on what's going to happen with Abomination and Tim Roth, especially. I'm not going to spoil anything what happened with the scene, so just know that. But definitely curious on what the future is for his character. I don't really need to go and talk about like Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, because it's Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Who am I forgetting? Well, obviously we got to talk about Tatiana Maslany, Titania. Titania was probably the worst character in the entire show. Like, for being entirely honest, she was the worst character in the entire show. And I'm not surprised. When they first announced that Jamila Jamil was going to play Titanium, I was like, that's going to be trash. Why? Because Jamila Jamil can't act. And she's also not funny. She's like a C-list comedian and a pretty bad actress. And that's basically it. And Titania was poorly acted, poorly written, not funny, and just kind of just there to be there. And I don't really feel like she was Titania. Like Titania in the comics, she's dressed like a professional wrestler essentially, whereas like in the show, she's just like a 1980s porn star or, you know, Vegas escort. So it's like it was just rough, you know. Like it was rough. You know, when it came to like Wong, you know, Benedict Wong coming back to play Wong, I think his character is just, you can put him in anything Marvel related and he'll always just be one of the best things in the show. And then they had this character named Madison, spelled with like a Y, but you don't know where it is, something like that. I don't remember what the freaking little gimmick was for it, but Madison and Wong on screen together was gold. It was just, that was some gold content right there. And then you have, I forgot, what is his name? Let me look up this guy's name. Is it Griffin Matthews? I think it's Griffin Matthews. Yeah, Griffin Matthews. He played Luke, which is this tailor who makes superhero suits. He, much like Nikki, his character, was still in scenes. He was great. Like Griffin Matthews was amazing. Like he was still in the scenes. I enjoyed a lot of the content that involved him. He was very, very well acted. The script for him was solid. And obviously you got to talk about Charlie Cox. Charlie Cox came back to play Daredevil, and I thought him and Tatiana Maslany did great with each other. Like they played off each other acting wise very well. It was really solid. They fit. Like their characters fit together pretty well, and I like the idea that Marvel's kind of setting like them up to be this ideal relationship, which I still think will eventually just fall apart. They are going to have Tatiana Maslany in his TV show, so they're going to have this Daredevil She-Hulk romance, be a thing. But I do think it's inevitable that it'll fail because She-Hulk in the comics is a serial dater. She's dated so many people. She dated Luke Cage. She dated like Iron Man. She dated freaking, I think she did Wolverine. She did a lot of people. There's a lot of characters she's dated. She even dated Eros, Thanos' brother. Like She-Hulk's been around the block. And then obviously with Daredevil you have Elektra. So it's like you don't want to go full Arrowverse where it's like everyone knows that Oliver Queen always ends up with freaking Laurel, and then be like, no, we're gonna be different. Oliver's not going to end up with Laurel. He's going to be a Felicity. Like, now I'm telling you now, I don't mind the Oliver Felicity stuff in Arrow, but a comic actor, everyone loves Black Canary and Green Arrow being together. So Daredevil, everyone loves Daredevil being with Elektra. So I feel like that's just inevitable that it's going to be that. I don't think Marvel's going to like ignore that that's the core like romance for Daredevil and just be like forcing She-Hulk as the romance option. So I think it's for now though it's fine. Now it's cool. In terms of the ending for this season, it was a mixed bag for me. And when I say mixed bag, I mean I didn't like that it basically didn't wrap up any plot lines. Like that's the big negative for the entire show, because you have to like hit that landing, and if you don't hit that landing, that can affect the entire show. And they didn't wrap up any plot lines. They just kind of want like this cheeky way of, I'm She-Hulk, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. I don't want it to end this way, and then you just don't get any like closure on any of the plot lines. And it's like, I get it because it's on par for her character to like, break the fourth wall, which is cute. The way she broke the fourth wall in the season finale was really cool, really funny. The whole thing with Kevin, and she was asking, when are we getting the X-Men movie? It's like there was like a lot of Easter eggs and that was like cool, but like still there was no closure on the actual plots of the show. And then you have like the other spoilers that don't really get into. I guess we could. So I'm just gonna say right now, if you haven't seen the show, massive spoiler. Hulk comes back from Sakaar and he has a son named Scar, which he doesn't in the comics. And there's a comment made earlier before that scene where She-Hulk kind of says you'll see him again in a movie. So it's kind of like they're planting the seeds for the Planet Hulk. It's going to happen. We're definitely getting Planet Hulk. I feel like that's the entire reason why Scar is here. The entire like point of where he left Sakaar is going to be Planet Hulk, and then him come back to She-Hulk is after Planet Hulk, and he got a son Scar, as well. So there's just gonna be a lot going on. We're getting to Planet Hulk definitely. It's just I just didn't like how there's just no wrap up for the plot. Everything else is fine. Everything else for the ending was fine. I just don't like how there was no like actual wrap up or clarity or anything that makes us feel like, okay, she did a good job at dealing with Titania. She did a good job at dealing with Abomination and dealing with Intelligentsia, and basically, which is just to make fun of incels. The entire point of Intelligentsia in this show was to make fun of incels. Like, you literally get that sense in episode where it's like a bunch of dudes who hate women all inside one little log cabin bitching about She-Hulk, which is just Marvel again making fun of the real world where people are bitching about She-Hulk, and most of them are just incels. And so if you're gonna have people who are gonna be mad just because of that. But overall, I think the show is really good. Like, there's episodes where I kind of just was like on autopilot because I didn't really connect with a lot of the stuff as a male. Again, the show is targeted towards modern women. So there were some episodes where I was just kind of like just on autopilot, just watching just to watch and not really disliking it or liking it at all. Just it felt like filler. That's the word I'm gonna use. For me, it felt like filler. It's not filler, but it feels like filler because some episodes didn't really seem like they mattered to like the actual plot of the entire show. But I do think the show itself was solid. If I gave it a score, maybe like a 6 out of 10. I feel like 6 is fair. If I was someone who was able to connect with it more, probably give it like a 7, and that's probably about as high as I'll go. I'm looking forward to the second season. I think it has been confirmed that they're doing a second season. Looking forward to that. I'm wondering where it's going to take place. Like, it's going to be before or after Echo. it's going to be before or after Daredevil. That would be like my curiosity for it. I would assume it'd be after Daredevil because again, Tatiana Maslany's going to be in it, and I feel like they want to like wrap up their little situation before getting into another season of She-Hulk. Or am I just go with the sooner and have it come out within a year or two? Loki came out a year ago. They finished wrapping up the film for this past summer, so maybe they want to have these shows be a little quicker than let's say like the movies, for example. But I know there's some people who don't like this. I don't really care. It's my opinion. You're allowed to make your own video where you express your own opinion. I will say like right now, if you can't have like a constructive criticism, you'll just get like your comment deleted. So don't if you want to say something stupid, it'll just be removed. I don't really care. Like, it's my channel, it's my video. Make your own video where you can sit there and bitch and moan. That's it. That's just how it is. Okay. Like matter of fact, watch this clip. This clip is exactly all you need to see to understand how I feel about what your negative opinion about my opinion would be.
Yeah, D, literally nobody cares. Like, I don't know. I know this is probably a normal. Okay, I'm just gonna say this again, D. You guys betray yourself by the way that you complain because you don't have any concrete examples of how to complain. You just betray why you're complaining, and I know that this must be a common feeling for you, but nobody cares. I'm calling your mom right now to see if she cares. Excuse me, Mrs. D. Your son really hates She-Hulk. Do you care? She says she doesn't care. All right. Talk to you later. Sorry, Mrs. D. Mom doesn't give a shit. So it's tough. It's tough, but it's common for you. You're used to it. It's been this way your whole life. Cool. Hop into the next stream. Yeah, just like you guys don't understand. Like the incel haters, you guys, you look like it. You're see-through. Your comments are see-through as shit. So yeah, it's just gotten to the point
with
where
all of that said, that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Hold on, I'll catch you guys on the next one where we're going to talk about Rings of Power. So catch you guys in a bit. Y'all stay safe, be conscious, one of them being the boy Anubis. Stay true. I'm out of here. Deuces.